Welcome to the next project. Today I've got a couple things going on, a couple blunders to fix, and hopefully all will go well in the end. As with most of the projects I work on, I get a little excited and start working on things out of sequence, and I forget to take steps and skip shortcuts and things like that, and the headstock is no exception. When I was working on the templates shape for the new headstock, I measured the width of the wide part and used that number to create the new wings for the headstock. Unfortunately, that makes it really narrow and too precise at work and leaves no room for error or adjustment. So I had to take a step back and I added on a little bit more width to the paddle of the headstock, made it about a ½ inch wider overall. And it was really simple to do. Cut some more hard maple, got everything squared up and glued on, clamped down, then resurfaced the front and the back to get it all the nice same thickness throughout. So now I'm ready to veneer this front and back, and then also prepare the final template for cutting out the headstock. Hopefully this project, I'll start paying attention to what I'm doing and it'll come together a little bit better. Let's start that project.
And here we go. This is fumed eucalyptus veneer. It's I got it off of eBay. There's a seller. I will try to remember to put a link to his store in the description, but he sells a whole lot of really nice veneer. The veneer I used dried out quite a bit while I had it in storage, so I used some rehydration formula that you can buy from one of the online veneer stores. It worked really well. Here I'm prepping the book match pieces for the face of the headstock and clamp them between two perfectly straight hard maple blocks and just gently sand until they match up. It took me 2 or 3 tries, and then I followed that up by using some veneer tape, pull the pieces together tightly and run some cross pieces of tape across it, and then a center strip down the middle to hold it all together. And when you have one side done, you do the same process for the other side of the veneer. Always mark a center line, whatever you're working on. And then I take some time to put some tape in the truss rod route. Make sure I don't end up with a bunch of glue down in there. Now I'm test fitting everything. And on the back of the headstock, where it ties into the neck, you have that interesting curve. You got actually a compound curve going on there. So I rigged up a hinge of wood and found some high-density thick foam that I'm going to use in my pressing process. To glue everything together, I use, in this case, Thomann cold press glue, which is a little less likely to seep through or wick through the veneer itself. It's a slower drying. It's not like Thomann 1, which sets up pretty quick. This takes, I think, about 6 hours to really get firm. You have about 20 minutes to maybe a half an hour to mess around with it before it, you should leave it alone, but it takes about 6 hours for it to really bite, and another 24 hours to fully cure. And to get the veneer tape off, in this case I use water and rubbing alcohol and just a blue paper shop rag and just soak it, and it slowly lets go. The adhesive on the back of this tape reminds me of what you'd find on the back of a postage stamp. I'm sure it's not the same thing, but that's the general idea. But this, if you get the paper wet, soak it pretty good, the paper and the adhesive will come off of the veneer. It's a little messy while you work on it, but it cleans up very nice, and just the lightest sanding will finish this off once it dries. Actually, the rubbing alcohol mixed in with the water helps it dry pretty quick.
Now with the headstock having a veneer on both sides, it's ready to receive a template to have the new shape cut. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown, a very quick rundown of how I make a template, and we'll get to cutting out the new headstock shape. So this is the shape I'm gonna go with. I've only had like 50 different shapes that I've been playing with, some similar to this, shorter, taller. Anyway, let's get the template going.
Most of the templates I build, I start out with 1/4 inch MDF, which is medium density fiberboard. And again, a center line. And I'm using photo mount to attach my paper guide or template to my 1/4 inch MDF, and grab the jigsaw and just knock it out rough, about a 16th of an inch to an 1/8 of an inch proud of the lines on the paper template. And now I'm cutting out a 3/4 inch thick piece of MDF that basically matches the 1/4 inch piece, and breaking out my trusty ghetto router table, which I have a drop-in piece to hold the oscillating spindle sander. And what I did, I took the 1/4 inch piece of MDF and only cleaned up the profile on 1/2 of it. I didn't do both sides of the headstock, I just did one side. And my plan is to use the one side that I have sanded nice, attach it to the 3/4 inch piece of MDF, route them so they match, then flip the 1/4 inch piece over on the 3/4 inch and do the other side. So from one sanded side of the 1/4 inch template, I've prepped both sides of both the 1/4 and 3/4 inch. Wow, that's confusing. And now I'm doing the same basic idea with the crown of the headstock. I'm only prepping half of it on the 1/4 inch piece. And now back to the router again, and repeat the process. I route away half of the 3/4 inch, flip the 1/4 inch template over and go about it again, and then use the prep 3/4 inch piece to finalize the 1/4 inch back to the oscillating spindle sander and tie the two together in the middle. And there you have it. I've prepped 2 mounting holes in the template headstock, or headstock template, and I'm just align the center of the template to the center book match of the wood, and secure the template to the headstock with 2 sheetrock screws. It's time to start routing the shape of the headstock. I use an upcut spiral bit. It's a 1/2 inch shank, and I'm using part of the shank itself as a bearing surface to run against my MDF templates. Since this is a one-off headstock shape, I'm not too concerned about deforming the MDF or burning it or anything. And all in all, this process works really well. I could probably do 3 or 4 headstocks before the MDF started to deform. If you make a lot of templates and you want to use them over and over, you can harden the edges of the template by wicking super glue or CA along the edge. But be careful when you do that, because whatever's the formaldehyde maybe that's in MDF or whatever's in it doesn't really play well with CA glue. It will smoke, it gets really hot, smells really bad. So make sure you have plenty of ventilation if you're going to do that. And as I'm wrapping this video up, I'm doing some rough dressing of the union from the new headstock shape to the neck. I use some cheap Amazon Dragon files. I'll try to put a link to that in the description as well. A little, what was this, 100 grit paper, maybe some 220 grit paper, just to kind of clean things up to make it look semi-nice. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, ring the bell, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And coming up soon, we're going to be laminating the back cap for the body. Thanks for watching.